Bill Belichick and the romance that has captivated our nation. That's right. Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, continuing to make news. Bill just recently celebrated his 73rd birthday, and you don't have to be a mathematician to understand that 73 minus 24 is 49, meaning that Bill Belichick was 48 or 49 years old. I don't know how the months fall, but the man was damn near 50 when Jordan Hudson was born, but they're in a committed, loving relationship, is what we've all been led to believe. We've seen the pictures on the beach, Bill holding her up in the air with his feet like some Patrick Swayze dirty dancing shit going on out there. Bill with her at various events, arm candy is what it is. And, as our own Dan Dockich here at OutKick has said before, hey, love is love, man. But people are going to be talking anytime they see an age gap of damn near a half a century. And boy, are people continuing to talk. Bill appearing on Sunday, on CBS Sunday Morning, things got awkward, and now the media attention is starting to, let's say, gather some steam. The New York Post reporting that there are concerns at the University of North Carolina about Bill Belichick and his relationship with Jordan Hudson. And in the wake of the CBS Sunday Morning interview segment that just got downright weird, with Jordan Hudson pausing it at one point, we'll see here in just a moment. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and go to the tape. If you've seen it, let's look at it again. We're going to analyze this fucker like the Zapruder film right now. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. If you have seen it, let's look at it again. Roll tape.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
William, we don't talk about that. Next question. She's sitting over there like a stage mom. It's like, who's in charge here? I joked yesterday that it was looking a little bit like Brian Wilson and his psychiatrist back in the 1980s, but it really is starting to feel like she's the boss. She's the Yoko Ono of our generation. Perhaps. Bill Belichick, 73 years old, 8 Super Bowl rings, 6 Super Bowl rings as a head coach, the most decorated coach in NFL history. Many would argue, most I think would even argue that he's the greatest football coach of all time, certainly at the NFL level. And he's being told what to do by a woman that's 1/3 his age. And so what is going on here? The dynamics of this relationship. People are talking. People are speculating. You know how people talk. Let's give them something to talk about. A little something to figure out. Figure out how you got $3 million and no job. Hey, I'm just telling you what people are saying. People are saying something is being hidden. I'm not saying that something's being hidden. I'll never read a Sonny Hostin legal note on this program. I don't know what's going on. I'm just an interested observer because like I said yesterday on this program, what did I say on the program yesterday? I said I wasn't really all that interested in how they met until they didn't want to talk about it. And then that part of you that likes a little juicy gossip, and let's be honest, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're somebody's grandma or if you're a big old burly man. You get a little bit of juice going, and it's like, well, hang on now. What does that mean? Why can't we talk about it? Because when you won't talk about something, it makes us start to think that you're hiding something. And if we feel like you're hiding something in American society, look out. Here come the FOIA requests. And let's be clear that Bill Belichick is a public employee as the head coach of the North Carolina football team. This is a position that he's never been in before. And so technically he's representing the state of North Carolina. And so what is happening or isn't happening could be of great interest to North Carolina and could be of consequence to his second career as a college football coach. We will be following this story closely as it no doubt will develop. What do you make, Ron, of this Bill Belichick story? It's getting weirder by the minute. I got to tell you, when I saw Dave Portnoy's tweet about the CBS Sunday Morning thing, that was the first time that I saw the footage. I'm like, okay, what do we got here? And then I watched it and I watched it again and I thought, she is kind of treating him like a child. That was my number one takeaway, is that this guy's 50 years older than her and she's treating him like a kid. Clearly seems, at least on the surface, to be the boss.
Dude, she has stepped into this role of domineering wife like really fast. Like she's, what do we just say? You said almost a half a century difference. She has
slipped it on like a pair of sweatpants, didn't she?
Yeah, man, but
just
it's like
eased right into it.
She's already in her mind. I believe that she thinks that they're like equal partners in this journey at this point. Like she's put as much, sweat equity into what the Bill Belichick brand is as he has. And guess what? He's letting her. So, I mean, I saw a video last week, 2 weeks ago. They were out on the practice field and she's out there. And she's just like, she's walking around like Queen Bee, telling people this, telling people that. I know she's got the job of social media director or whatever it is, but it's still, it's pretty weird. I saw somebody make a comment and I think it could be true. There's going to be a Netflix documentary years from now, and it's going to be really interesting.
Yoko Ono is exactly what we got happening here. She showed up and now she's just calling the shots. She's probably got Belichick on a macrobiotic diet, telling him what he can do, what he can't do. She's got to be everywhere he goes. Apparently. She's going to be on the sideline with him. What's going on here? This isn't the Bill Belichick that we've all known. And
she's going to decide if they go for it on fourth.
For decades. I'm just saying, I mean, it's just downright weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like she is his handler now. And everything goes through her. And she is the person who is telling. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just saying
Allegedly.
that the optics of it look like she's this domineering person who is pulling the strings. On stuff.
And to be very careful so I don't have to read the legal notice, it just feels like maybe she's got something on him. And he's just like, oh God, I'm going to have to let her do whatever she wants. Like what she has on me is too damning or embarrassing. It's what it feels like to me. Maybe he's just.
Look, it reminds me of a tweet that I made some time ago about Super Mario Brothers. And Mario's on like level 7 or 8. He's got fucking turtles with spikes on their back being thrown at him and all kinds of shit. I think Bowser's in there, the final boss or whatever. And I just tweeted something to the effect of the sex must have been amazing. Think of everything that Mario put himself through.
That's what.
Say, let's go. And the pussy's so good. Let's go. That's basically what that whole game was about, right? Like if she wasn't good in bed, there's no way he's bothering past like level 1, 2. You're just like, I got to do a what? I got to jump up onto the flagpole and then I got to come down. fuck this. You know what I mean? Like if the sex wasn't just mind blowing, I feel like you just opt out on that quest. And I think that may be what's happening with
you
our
do
friend Bill.
you do understand, right, that every single guy of a certain age, and that certain age isn't even our age, that's 25 and north. That's what they're all thinking, right? That is collectively what every guy thinks is going on in this relationship. And
Well, because in their relationship, there's no point at which he can say, like, hey, Jordan, remember when? This motherfucker was, I mean, like, listen, this is gross, Ron. How old are you, Ron?
58.
58 years young. Okay. Well, when Bill was 58.
No, there's a
she
10-year-old
was
out there.
9.
I know there's a 10-year-old out
9.
there. I know.
That's like a fucking fourth grader, dude.
I know.
You know, and so when you stop and think about it, what the people who are assuming that this is some sort of sex perversion based relationship, well, it's logical that one would think that, because what do they have in common? Maybe they do have things.
Millions in real
Maybe
estate.
She's conversant.
Millions in real estate.
Oh, well, now I don't. That's how rumors get started, Tim.
She is also the
That's how rumors
CEO.
get started.
She's also the CEO of the Trouble Club Enterprise. That is the name of her company. The CEO of Trouble Club
What is
Enterprises.
what's the Trouble Club do, Tim?
That's, you know what, Ron? The mass media will definitely get to the bottom of that. They have poked the beehive, and Bill and his relationship is definitely in the crosshairs for a lot of media outlets, for sure.
Yeah, this is actually interesting because I mentioned yesterday, you know, there's another, you know, I've heard on another media outlet, Barstool, and that they just met on a plane very organically. They happened to be sitting next to each other and struck up a conversation.
That was the story a year ago, and he signed a book, blah blah blah. Why couldn't they say that again?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why aren't they sticking with that story, Tim?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, Tim,
point.
is when I saw that
They've
yesterday.
established the lore.
Yeah.
So now they're backing away from it, which immediately is going to raise more questions.
Oh, anytime you say we're not, what, like you said earlier, I'm not going to answer that question, or we're not going to talk about that, my radar immediately goes on, right? Like, oh, okay, interesting. Don't want to say.
Now I want to know.
Now I
wasn't even interested until then.
And literally,
like,
all they had to do was.
You don't want to talk about it?
Just have if it's meeting on a plane, have it that, or if meeting on the plane's a lie, well, then just do that. Just appease the question. Oh, we met on a plane. Next question. And they didn't answer it. Super weird.
Yeah,
it's
and
very weird.
And Belichick made enough enemies when he was a coach. He pissed the media off enough that it'll be very interesting to see. Ricky mentioned FOIA, Freedom of Information requests. There's a lot of media outlets who want to see every last little dime and what's going on there. But good one we can get to with our comedian, Joe, who's in the waiting room, Ricky. We don't need to rush, but Joe Bartnick should have a funny take on it. Looking forward to hearing that.
Belichick. So what do you think what do you think the largest gap between a man and a woman can be in a relationship and it not be weird? So they're sitting at what, Ricky, what do we decide? They're at 48 years?
Now we're getting into the real questions, Ron. Yeah, this is a great question.
They're at 48 years.
The difference between them is they're 48 years apart.
So so Joe,
how far
that means
can you go?
Yeah,
without
Joe, if you
crossing
repeated
the line over into being weird.
I mean, this is weird, Joe. If you repeated what Belichick did when you're 73, that girl's 7 right now. Like, that's just ick.
I think it is ick. I'm not going to judge a man what he's doing. That's his own thing. But I know that I'm 55 and I'm dating a 39-year-old because when I met her, she looked like she was about 32. I mean, she is 39, but I thought she was a little young. And 32 is the youngest I could go mentally without feeling creepy.
Well, it's that half plus 7, right?
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, half your age plus 7 is kind of the conventional wisdom.
It's
Joe
funny because I was never good in math, but that actually makes sense. I can actually understand that equation.
Yeah.
But just the gap is incredible because I know my girlfriend will use emojis that I don't understand, that I have to go to the emoji dictionary to look up. Like, so their communication gap has to be huge.
Yeah, just like so after they've had sex for what, a minute and a half? I mean, Bill can't go longer than a minute and a half. So they have sex for a minute and a half. Probably takes them longer than that to get it up, but minute and a half of sex. What do they talk about after that?
You've given this a lot of thought, Ron.
Yeah.
Maybe he's using hymns. I'm sure Bill's using some sort of erectile enhancement product.
Or, I mean, she's pretty, if maybe he's just that turned on because she is that much younger than him.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's true.
Ick.
If he's not
Joe,
getting it up
ick.
in that situation, yeah.
Just
He
as
probably
a
really
father.
does have a problem. He needs Jesus to raise that thing like Lazarus. if that's the case, guys. But I mean, I'm glad we got Joe on here and you've just cornered him, peppering him with how young you can date. But Joe's obviously doing well. He's got a girlfriend under 40 at age 55. He's living the fucking dream
that
over here.
doesn't
Yeah.
but that doesn't seem weird. Like that doesn't seem weird. Like
Right, because
Ricky,
Joe
his girlfriend's a
he's
woman.
within,
his girlfriend is a woman.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not creeped out at all by it.
No.
Joe is safely within the window of social
Absolutely.
acceptability here. Yes.
As a man, though, as a father, I'm skeeved out because I have a 21-year-old daughter, and I'm like the biggest Mick Jagger Rolling Stones fan in the world. But what he's like dating like a 29-year-old, I don't go for that just as a father. Like, I'm not cool with that.
Yes.
So I can't believe her parents. I mean, how big of a Giants fan or Patriots fan is her family?
Oh,
She's okay with that. They're okay with
her
that.
her dad's just telling everybody at the club, my daughter's dating Bill Belichick.
That must be a nice luxury box, Ricky.
Can you
See what
imagine?
you see what Joe did there?
And how
Hey,
old
you
are
see
her parents? Are they like
luxury box? I get what you did there, Joe. I picked that up.
Hey. Oh, sorry. I was so
picked that
invested
up.
in my own thought there. Joe slipped one past me. Hey, now. I don't know how old her parents are, but that's got to be profoundly weird knowing that the guy that was, telling Harry Carson what to do in Super Bowl 21 is out there just plowing your daughter. You know what I mean? How do you sleep at night?
Plowing, though.
It's just, I've got a 22-year-old. I mean, I relate to this directly as well.
Oh.
I mean, Jordan Hudson is 2 years older than my oldest daughter. Can you, I don't know, man. Speaking of things that have developed and occurred yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles, at least a good portion of them, visited the White House to accept their congratulations from President Trump for being the Super Bowl. You tell me what it is. Was it 59? I'm sorry. The Roman numerals. You're losing me. It was 59 champions. And so we talked yesterday on the program, Saquon Barkley enjoying a round of golf with President Trump before going to the White House. And many Philadelphia Eagles were on hand for this, but Jalen Hurts was not among them. There were some Eagles who decided that they didn't want to go to the White House and be a part of this celebration, and that has driven a little bit of a wedge between people, as if we need more wedges driven in this culture of ours. But you can see here some of the Eagles that were not at the White House being called out on social media. It included A.J. Brown, included a number of names there you can see, and of course, that's their decision whether or not they're going to go to the White House. But the statement from Jeffrey Lurie and the Philadelphia Eagles, I think, was on point. And let's take a look at what the Eagles officially had to say about this White House visit. Remember, they did not go to the White House after their Nick Foles, Doug Peterson Philly Special championship of about 7 or so years ago. The Eagles CEO and chairman, the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, saying the Eagles were honored to participate in the long-standing tradition of visiting the White House to celebrate their victory, going on to say that while in Washington, they also had the privilege of visiting Arlington National Cemetery, where they paid their respect to those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country, the Eagles laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. The experience was especially personal for me, as my father served as a captain in the Army and was stationed in France during World War II. Lurie going on to say, our time in the nation's capital served as a great reminder of the core values that have brought our team so close together: sacrifice, selflessness, and discipline. OutKick's own Armando Salguero was honored to be at the White House yesterday, invited, his first trip there ever, and Armando had to say this from the scene.
This is a super cool experience and it hasn't even started yet. If you're bagging out of this idea and this opportunity, I don't get it. Come to the White House. It's the nation's house.
So there you go. Armando Salguero saying, if you're going to pass on this opportunity, you're missing out. Now, again, my position on this has been clear. If I get invited to the White House for any kind of good reason, if they're like, hey, Ricky Cobb, come to the White House because we want to honor you, I'm going to go to the White House regardless of who the president is, because how many people, how many American citizens are ever going to have an invitation to go to the White House? It's an honor. It's an experience. I think it's a bucket lister. It's something to tell people about. You got a dinner party conversation icebreaker for the rest of your life. I went to the White House. What was it like? Well, let me tell you. Here's what it was like. It was incredible, right? You've robbed yourself of an experience, is what I would say to anyone who opts out because they disagree politically with whoever happens to be in the office. And I would say the same thing if Joe Biden or anyone else were president and somebody was opting out because they disagreed with that particular president's policies, because the White House has housed a lot of presidents. It's housed presidents that you like. It's housed presidents that you may have loved. And it has housed presidents that you disagree with and people that you think are scoundrels. But the institution itself is bigger than any person. And to not go is, in my opinion, while respecting each of the Philadelphia Eagles and the fact that they have to make their own judgments, I think that it's short-sighted and you missed out, is what I think. Because you may never get another opportunity again to go there and to experience something that should be seen as a privilege. So I'm happy to see Armando Salguero there basking in the moment and enjoying an honor that he correctly observes as something that any American should want to take advantage of. Des Bryant had this to say about Saquon Barkley being the recipient of criticism across the social media landscape because he hung out with Donald Trump. Played golf with Donald Trump. Clay Travis tweeting, hey, look, if you get an opportunity to play golf with any American president and you pass it up, that's on you, basically, is what Trey had to say. But Des saying, how are y'all going to get mad at Saquon Barkley over his personal choice? Well, that's what happens in America all of the time, Des. That's how it happens. People criticize each other for their personal choices. But Saquon Barkley, for some, he probably lost them as fans because of playing golf with Donald Trump. But again, I would say to that, anybody that you lose as a fan over such a trivial reason wasn't really your fan in the first place. And good riddance. Don't let the door smack you in the ass as you are hopping off the Saquon Barkley bus. And with that being said, let me now bring into the picture the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He is, of course, Ronnie T-Shirts. Ronnie,
Ricky,
let's begin with the Eagles, and then we'll backtrack to Bill Belichick. But I know that at one time you had said that you weren't sure that you would have wanted to go to the White House if it had been Joe Biden. But you've come around on that, I think, and you are now on Team USA. Let's go and experience the honor regardless, because the office of the presidency is bigger than whoever occupies it at any given time.
yeah, man, and full transparency. My my immature knee-jerk reaction when we first talked about it last summer was I wouldn't want to go and shake Joe Biden's hand. And then, you and I talked about it, and you made some really good points, and I actually agree with you. And I was wrong for, I wasn't wrong. It was my instinct. But when you put more thought to it, you're exactly right.
Ron. Apologize like Jax Ulbrich apologizing for that dastardly prank phone call that almost destroyed America.
I would like to apologize to Joe Biden and the White House staff for saying that I would not attend if invited. I now understand the error of my ways.
My captors are treating me well.
Because a very wise man named Ricky Cobb showed me the errors of my way. If you invite me, I will come.
What a heartfelt, extemporaneous speech that you just gave there, with no goading whatsoever.
No, man, listen. We're never too old. We're never too old to listen to other people's point of views and think it through and change our minds about how we're going to handle things. I do. I really, because here's the thing. How many people are in that whole group? Like somewhere between 50 and 100, right? Depending on how people showed up. You don't have to go over and give that president a hug, but you're there, man. Like you're in the picture. You're there. You get to tour the White House. They got to go see Arlington Cemetery and lay a wreath and all kinds of different things, man. It's like you're just sitting at home going, I don't like the orange man. Like
I'm too good. I'm too good for this.
Yeah, and
it's virtue signaling to It's just
listen,
I'm not gonna go.
But here's the thing.
Whatever.
Here's the thing.
I mean, you do you.
Jalen Hurts doesn't have a Ricky Cobb in his life like I do. Jalen Hurts doesn't have a Ricky Cobb in his life like I do. Like seriously, like you got to have friends. We talk about this all the time. It's really important to have friends that one will tell you when you're wrong, or two that you respect enough to listen to what they're saying and maybe change your mind. So Jalen Hurts doesn't sound like he's got that person in his life.
I'll be his big brother, Ron. Remember the American Big Brothers and Big Sisters?
Yeah, it's still going strong.
When we were kids, I'll be his big brother. I'll take him out. I'll play some wiffle ball with him. I'll sit down with him, put my arm on his shoulder,
rub his head, call him champ.
I'll rub his head a little bit. Yeah, I'll give him one of those at the end of the advice, and I'll say, "Come on, buddy, I'll go get you an ice cream now. I'll tush push you into Dairy Queen and get you a cone, buddy. Coach him up a little bit. Sounds like he needs it. Look, I mean." Maybe they won't regret it. It's their decision. You know what I mean? It's the decision that they made, and I hope that they're happy with it. But to me, it is short-sighted. You have an opportunity to go and do something truly special, and I think you're being kind of blind to history, and you're choosing not to celebrate something with your teammates as well. So, whatever. I'm on board with the ones that elected to go, Ronnie.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.